Okay, I'm like too excited to even contain myself. So for those of you who watched my video where I shot a whole job with my LS400, I was asking if I just changed the air cap, if that would make it a WS400. And people had said that you need the air cap and you need the nozzle, the 1.4 nozzle. So today I have another LS400 right here, as you can see, with the 1.4 tip and dun, 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 the WS400 air cap. Right away, obviously we know 1.4, the hole is going to be bigger than the 1.3. And as for the air cap, I noticed something interesting here. So if you look at the air horns, you see the front one is a lot bigger than the rear one. Whereas on the LS400 cap, the front one is only slightly bigger than the rear one. If anyone knows why that is, I'm assuming because this is meant for clear, thicker material, the smaller air holes will give you more atomization. I could be completely wrong on that, but if anyone knows, if you could leave that down in the comments, I'd appreciate it. But today, it's Friday. You guys know I like to have fun on Friday. So I'm going to use that piece of junk for sealer today, and that makes me so happy. And I'm going to put a coat of color with this, a coat of color with this, a coat of clear with this, a coat of clear with this. And we're going to compare the two and see the differences that the 1.4 tip and the WS400 cap make. I'm assuming it's going to be a pretty noticeable difference with a bigger fan and more fluid going out. So anyway, with that said, let me mix up my color, throw this sealer on, and then I'll take you guys in the booth. This is going to be a fun one. All right, so we're in the booth. We're going to start with the LS. What we're going to do here with the LS, we're using two LS. We're going to start with the stock LS. I'm going to shoot this panel and this panel. Then I'll switch over to the LS with the WS attachments, and we're going to compare how they spread. So here we go. Okay, not bad considering we're going over almost white primer. I'm not sure why this color called for this color primer. This is a lighter variant, so maybe that's why. Laid nice and flat, that's for sure, like it always does. Had to move kind of slow. Let's see if the LS with the WS attachments speed things up a bit. Okay, here we go. Just realized I failed the first half there, but the material is definitely coming out thicker. I may have to raise the pressure a bit more on the next coat. Okay, we're gonna let this dry and then we'll compare the coverage. That was the first time I ever shot that gun with that nozzle and air cap. And I can honestly say, I see why Iwata goes with a smaller nozzle and tip for their base gun. The fan kind of just felt too wide, and I didn't feel like I was working as efficiently as I was with this gun, meaning I kind of felt like I was just throwing material everywhere, probably because base is just too thin for that 1.4 tip with that air cap. So definitely for base, I would stick with this 100%, but I really do think when we get to clear, that's going to change because the bigger fan and the bigger tip are definitely going to be more beneficial for clear. So I'm gonna throw the rest of the base down with this thing. I'll set you guys up so you could watch that. And then we'll get to the real fun part.
To be honest, this is just the most elite base gun that you can buy. The only thing is, if you're a DIY guy, unless you have a giant compressor, you're not going to be able to run this gun. It uses so much air.
But in a professional setting, with the right compressor, I truly do believe this is the best gun on the market. It just does what you need it to do as efficiently as possible. And I really do think, even though this is the LS with the WS attachments on it, internally, the LS and WS are the same thing. The only thing that's different was the air cap, the nozzle, and then someone also said the needle. But I did notice the needle in this one, it looks the same, obviously, but it felt different. It felt lighter almost. If anybody knows for sure if this uses a different needle, please let me know. I'm gonna let this flash off. I'll do the drop coat and then the fun will begin. So yeah, overall, I would definitely say after only shooting those 2 panels with the WS, it's definitely not optimized for shooting base as you would expect. It kind of feels like it's just not as precise with the bigger attachments on it, which obviously makes sense, you know. And when you're shooting base, you want precision. You don't want a lot of overspray. You don't want a really big pattern because you want to be in control of where that color is going. Now, when you're shooting clear, that's not necessarily the case. If you want a smooth finish, you want a big fan because you want as much overlapping as possible. And that fan with those attachments, it was freaking huge. I know I kind of screwed up when I was recording that, those 2 panels with the other LS, but it was the first time I was shooting it. I was just trying to make sure that the gun works more than anything. Now, I'm gonna shoot this first coat of clear right after this with this LS first, which has the stock attachments on it, obviously. And I already know how it's gonna shoot because I've shot it before. And it doesn't necessarily shoot the clear horribly, but the fan's too small and it's made for shooting thinner material, base coat. And the WS, well, it's not a WS, but it has the WS attachments. If I say WS, I'm talking about the LS with the larger cap and the larger nozzle. That gun is obviously geared towards shooting a thicker material, which showed, because when it was shooting this base, I felt like it was coming out too thin. Even though you have a larger tip, a larger cap, you would think you'd have more material coming out, but it just atomizes that material so much that it's so thin coming out that the LS actually gave me better coverage, the stock LS, with the 1.3 and the LS air cap. It actually gave better coverage. Now, the stock LS, this one, I already know after using it for clear a couple times that it doesn't cover as well as I would like it to. And I really think with the larger tip and the WS air cap on the same gun, it's gonna shoot like the WS would. We're gonna find out. So let me go mix up some clear. We'll shoot the first coat with the stock LS, and then I'll shoot the second coat with the upgraded LS.
First coat with the stock LS.
I mean, it puts it down. Just not as wet and not as flat as I would like. Let's see if the upgraded LS can get us a little flatter, a little wetter, a little nicer. Okay, second coat with the wannabe WS, aka the upgraded LS.
Okay, yeah, this isn't an LS anymore. It's definitely a WS. Wow. I will never, ever use my DV1 for clear, ever again. I mean, look at this finish. And the difference between this gun and the stock LS, just by changing the air cap and the nozzle is, I mean, it's mind-blowing. Look at this thing. Amazing. And so much quicker than my DV1. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully I entertained you a little bit. I know I didn't teach you nothing, but I guess I did teach you. If you got a LS and you want a WS, just go buy a 1.4 nozzle and the WS air cap, and you got a WS. Thank you again, guys. I really appreciate the support. It means so much to me. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe. Enjoy your weekend. Till the next time.